Hello guys, welcome to the Allrasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, Swallowed Star episode 205. In the previous episode, after arriving at the ancestral god sect with Master Zhen Yan, Luo Feng was granted access by the ruler of Bohemia Island to four main places: the World of Glory, the Land of Inheritance, the Land of Treasures, and the Land of the Secret Region. During his journey in the Land of Treasures, Luo Feng was involved in a confrontation with a Venerable from the machine race named Bei Shan. But he managed to intimidate his enemy using the fire god Crystal because of the strict rules prohibiting killing in that area. Thereafter, when Luo Feng entered the World of Glory, he registered using his legendary identity, King Blade River Daohe, to begin a new challenge among the geniuses of various races in the universe. So what happens next? Let's dive right into the story. It is known that World of Glory is a virtual world within the ancestral god sect in the form of a battle arena to earn glory points. Before starting the battle, Luo Feng created a new nickname, Daohe. As soon as Luo Feng registered his new name, all the other races were immediately in an uproar because they knew that Daohe was King Blade River, a figure whose name had often been a hot topic of conversation in the universe. On the Glory leaderboard, Luo Feng was placed at the 3rd level of inheritance. Along with that, King Seven Sword explained that inheritors of different levels would be categorized on different leaderboards, with level 7 being the highest. The rankings would be determined based on the number of wins and losses in virtual battles. If they won, they would earn glory points, and once those points reached 100, they could be exchanged for an additional inheritance opportunity. After receiving some explanations, Luo Feng revealed that their previous battle had been very satisfying and hoped that on another occasion, the two of them could spar again. At that place, there were millions of potential heirs, while the Hongmeng Alliance itself only had about 1,000 people. The two then went to the lobby where the human race gathered. At another table, other races began discussing the rising King Blade River, who had become the target of the demon race and the machine race, a matter that had been widely publicized. Therefore, these enemy races wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to defeat King Blade River so that their reputation would skyrocket. Meanwhile, King Seven Sword informed them that the other races discussing Luo Feng were from the Northern Border Alliance. They were just a group of weak and ordinary races whose strength was incomparable to the Hongmeng Alliance. The reason they were able to enter the ancestral god sect was because the inheritance tokens were scattered throughout the universe, and their territory was vast. Therefore, despite not being particularly strong, they have a high chance of entering the ancestral god sect. On the other hand, King Kai Yu, who was next to Luo Feng, explained that the Northern Border Alliance only liked to gossip, so Luo Feng was asked to ignore them. Glory points were very valuable, and it was rare for anyone to send a challenge letter. The Northern Border Alliance often incited other races not to accept challenges from humans, so their existence was considered an annoying nuisance. However, unlike usual, shortly after Luo Feng arrived there, he received many challenge letters. According to King Seven Sword, this was probably because Luo Feng was too popular in the universe, making many other races jealous or resentful. King Seven Sword estimated that Luo Feng could receive 1,000 challenges, but his expectation was wrong, and the number had reached 60,000 and continued to increase as time went by. Why did so many dare to challenge King Blade River even though he was feared by many enemy races? It was because they knew that Luo Feng was only a world master with his understanding of the beast god, secret techniques, and a few powerful treasures. They felt it was impossible for Luo Feng to kill the invincible king in the virtual space of World of Glory. In a one-on-one battle in the World of Glory, everyone uses a godly body with the same level of power. Weapons and equipment can only be selected from within the system. Therefore, Luo Feng's valuable treasures cannot be used. Since Luo Feng is considered weak without his treasures, many other races challenge him. Luo Feng was advised to be cautious, as once a challenge was accepted, it could not be revoked. Many challengers were geniuses who had created their own peak techniques, and some had even created ultimate level techniques. If he lost, Luo Feng would have to wait another era to earn new glory points. For comparison, Luo Feng's pinnacle-level technique alone had been praised by the Chaos City Lord, which showed how powerful the ultimate-level technique in question was. Not only through letters, but the enemy races also shouted challenges directly to King Blade River. They believed Luo Feng would not be able to win without the help of his trusty treasure. Faced with this situation and the increasing number of challenges, Luo Feng remained silent without giving an answer. Was Luo Feng afraid? On the contrary, he was silent because he had not finished his drink. After finishing his drink, he began to accept the challenges given by his opponents one by one. Luo Feng's presence even caught the attention of the ruler of Balhinia Island, as this was the first time anyone had accepted more than 620,000 challenges. This had never happened before. When Luo Feng first entered the virtual battle of World of Glory, he felt the power and fantasy of a god's body. A single punch was enough to destroy a small star. Although he had not yet reached the Immortal level, Luo Feng could already sense his power level while using his godly body in the virtual world, and he was able to exert his strength up to 100,000 times that of a world master. Luo Feng's first opponent was a hooded and masked figure wielding dual swords. Luo Feng easily dodged the enemy's initial attack, which was powerful enough to split a planet. Counterattacking, Luo Feng activated the 10,000 Star Sermon Mat Volume 2 technique, in the form of hundreds of small golden balls called bright like the sun and stars. Instantly, the attack slammed into the opponent and crushed him inside the sun. Luo Feng won in one strike. Other races looked down on the hooded man for losing to King Blade River, who did not use his signature treasure. After defeating his first opponent, Luo Feng earned 4 glory points. The battle continued as he received challenge after challenge. In the second battle, he faced an enemy who used the Law of Ice, but Luo Feng quickly won decisively. Long story short, Luo Feng went through duel after duel with consecutive victories. At that point, he had accumulated 2,682 glory points. This made opponents from various races begin to admit that Luo Feng was strong not only because of his treasures, but also because he was a genius. As a world master, he now stood at the pinnacle of the third-tier inheritance acceptance. The Chaos City Lord also did not expect his disciple to accumulate so many points in such a short time. With this achievement, there was a possibility that Luo Feng would eventually receive special treatment from the ancestral god sect. However, on the other hand, the plan to assassinate Luo Feng would become much more brutal. For example, the Sky Wolf Master of the Demon race felt that King Blade River could not be allowed to live. If he reached the Universe Venerable level, his power would be equivalent to that of a Universe Master, which would pose a great threat to other races. The Sky Wolf Master asked his subordinates about the Demon race at the Universe Venerable level who were in the ancestral god sect. It is known that there is one named Zhaoxi Venerable, who is currently the 5th level heir. In the depths of the universe, there is also the Prison Race, a powerful race that has chosen not to take action this time and is watching the exciting events at the ancestral god sect. They are confident that the fighters from the 4 top races of the universe will put on an interesting show. This has also led several other races that are hostile to humans to put King Blade River on their list of top priorities to be eliminated immediately. In addition, the insect race, which often clashed with Luo Feng, also ordered that King Blade River be eliminated immediately. The insect queen sent one of her subordinates in the ancestral god sect named Zhugang Venerable, from the Kongwen clan, who was highly skilled in soul control. He was ordered to execute Luo Feng. The insect queen promised that although Zhugang Venerable would be punished by the 5-color Aurora Lake, he would later be resurrected and given compensation. Their top priority was to control the soul of King Blade River. If that was not possible, then he must be killed. After a considerable amount of time, Luo Feng finally managed to complete many of the challenges given to him and successfully accumulated more than 610,000 glory points. Since 100 points could be exchanged for one valuable inheritance opportunity, Luo Feng's results were very abundant. Time continued to pass, but Luo Feng remained inside as he trained to deepen his understanding of the Beast God path. Luo Feng also continued to accept the remaining challenges and kept winning. He grew stronger as his understanding of the Beast God path neared the 3rd level of perfection. 10 years, 50 years, Zhu Gang remained patiently waiting. After 300 years had passed, he began to grow weary and deployed spider robots to monitor Luo Feng's movements, allowing him to engage in other activities while keeping watch from afar. During that long period of time, Luo Feng's understanding of the laws of space also increased rapidly. Now, both his human body and his golden-horned behemoth body were able to teleport. However, regarding the laws of space in terms of sealing and destruction, Luo Feng still had to deepen his understanding. After feeling that his training was sufficient, Luo Feng decided to leave the house so he could receive the latest beast god inheritance. After 900 years of training inside the house, Luo Feng was monitored not only by the venerable agents of the insect race, but also by several other races. Finally, there was movement at the large entrance to Luo Feng's residence. When Luo Feng came out, Venerable Zhu Gang immediately moved without hesitation. He muttered that Luo Feng should be proud because a Venerable was willing to sacrifice himself to execute a world master. However, before Zhu Gang could arrive, Zhaoxi Venerable had already appeared in front of Luo Feng. Just a few steps out of the house, Luo Feng was immediately confronted by an enemy. Because Zhaoxi Venerable had appeared first, Zhu Gang stopped his actions and chose to observe the situation. When he received a soul-shaking wave attack, Luo Feng realized that the demon race in front of him intended to control his soul to make him a slave. However, the attempt failed because Luo Feng's soul was very strong and had the protection of the beast god's power. Having failed to control Luo Feng's soul, Zhaoxi decided to kill him. He captured Luo Feng's body with his highly corrosive tongue. Although the attack could not destroy Shiwu's wings, Luo Feng's human body could not withstand it and eventually melted. Along with that, punishment from Aurora fell upon Zhaoxi for breaking the rules. A thin blue beam descended from the sky and killed him in seconds. After his body was destroyed, Luo Feng's possessions were left on the surface, including the precious Shiwu wings. The power of Aurora attracted the attention of other heirs who began to gather in the area. They sensed the remnants of Luo Feng's and Zhaoxi Venerable's power. One member of the machine race reported that Zhaoxi Venerable had just attacked King Blade River and had been killed by Aurora's punishment, while King Blade River's body itself was completely destroyed. Warriors from various races began to take interest in Luo Feng's fallen Shiwu Wing treasure. However, they held back because the ancestral god sect strictly forbade the seizure of other heirs' possessions. However, there was one other race that could not resist and tried to take the treasure, considering it ownerless since its owner was dead. But as soon as he touched Shiwu's wing, the sky rumbled again and Aurora's punishment descended, killing him instantly. Other races, including Zhu Gang, were puzzled as to why the punishment still applied even though Luo Feng was dead. They did not know that Luo Feng's human body was merely a clone created from the abilities of the golden-horned behemoth. As long as the core of his life was not destroyed, the clone's body could be revived. In his inner world after Luo Feng was revived, the treasures scattered in front of his house returned to his residence. Luo Feng then came out of his residence, wearing his equipment again. The other races were astonished to see that Luo Feng was still alive. At that moment, the ruler of Bauhinia Island arrived with an overwhelming force that forced everyone to submit. The figure of the guardian beast god asserted that Zhaoxi Venerable had violated the prohibition against killing in the sacred realm. He also stated that even if Zhaoxi was resurrected by reversing the laws of space and time, the ancestral god sect would still hunt him down to the death. The threat was directed at anyone who intended to kill Luo Feng. Not long after, Luo Feng, who appeared to be in excellent condition, showed himself and paid his respects to the ruler of Bauhinia Island. After the pressure was released, the other races wondered why Luo Feng was completely unharmed and assumed that he possessed legendary cloning abilities. The ruler of Bohemia Island ordered the crowd to disperse immediately and warned that anyone who tried to kill Luo Feng would be destroyed by the ancestral god sect. Hearing this, the fighters of other races immediately left. Zhu Gang Venerable was surprised because he had never seen the ancestral god sect give such great protection to an heir. Finding it difficult to kill Luo Feng at this moment, Zhu Gang decided to postpone his intentions and look for another more appropriate opportunity. Then what happened next? Okay, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.